Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bleed Los podcast, Carne Asada edition. We've got so much to talk about. Dodgers are number one in MLB. Tommy Edmonds on the IL, and Hyeseong Kim has finally been called up. All that and more coming up next.
It's time for the Bleed Los podcast.
Hi again, I'm Drea, joined tonight by Anthony, producer Roger. We still got Lalo on assignment. This episode is brought to you by DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's your one stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. What's going on, fellas? How are you? What's happening?
Not much. Enjoying this Sunday night. Sunday night baseball didn't go our way, but can't really be complaining on the way they're playing. It's all right if we drop one every here and now and then.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Good night. Good weekend. Happy May the 4th to you guys.
Yeah. May the force be with you.
May the 4th. We're definitely have to get into Star Wars night. I know that's coming up at the stadium, but yes, it is May the 4th. But overall, pretty good. We just played the Marlins. We played the Braves, and we could have had a double sweep. Roger, I think you called it. We had a sweep against the Marlins.
I had the sweep against the Marlins. We hadn't gotten to talk about the Braves series, but overall, I mean, 2 out of 3 against the Braves. They had swept them earlier in the season, so their Braves' first victory against the Dodgers. And, I had mentioned earlier how the Braves had struggled, coming out of the gate, but, they picked it up. They're playing better baseball now. They're getting healthy. So I thought it was a good weekend series, and Dodgers end up taking 2 out of 3.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they played really, really well. I mean, today, the exception of, 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, they had opportunities to cash it in, but they did not do it. But overall, I think we have a lot to be proud of. I was hoping to be number one by the end of this week, so I kind of got my wish, and I think they're just playing really well overall. And we saw the call up of someone we've all been asking about. Did you guys catch Hyeseong Kim? He looked amazing today.
The Comet, as his nickname is, apparently his name translates to Comet in English. And he showed it off on the base pass. That kind of got me excited there. I've never seen someone even attempt to steal on a check third strike. But yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd get a little risky there and maybe drop a sacrifice squeeze bunt at the plate, see if he's fast enough to steal it, worth the risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think he was. He's going to be fun to watch. I was kind of wanting. I want to see him get a starting, come up and to see how he can do throughout the whole game. But he looks really happy to be there. The club seems like they're really embracing him, and so, with the struggles that we've seen a little bit with Conforto or maybe a couple other players, I think that maybe it's just his time. So I hope he stays with us for a little bit and really shows us what he can do, because he's looked good in OKC. He had, but.
No, I was going to say he brings that element of speed, which the Dodgers don't really have, right? And something that a weapon that they can definitely utilize. I mean, if it's not now, right, it's definitely for postseason. They're going to, in this type of situation, you kind of saw this type of situation playing out. That's something that you want to do in the postseason, right? Somebody gets on, it's a close game. You bring in a speedy runner. He's able to get, move to second. He was very aggressive, right? Taking third base on that play. It's good to see. I mean, and that's kind of when they picked him up. I think that's the element that they wanted to add, right? They wanted to add that speed. Well, it remains to be seen, right? When he gets in there and plays, how his bat's going to play out. He did struggle in spring training, did a little better in his time in OKC right now. So, the word is probably until Edmund comes back, but you never know, right? Like Dave Roberts said, you never know how things are going to play out. He could stay longer. It could be till Edmund comes back, but he's here right now. He gets some playing time. Let's see what he can do.
And I think he can do a lot because I mean, I guess he had 28 game streak in OKC where he was batting at 252 and he had 13 stolen bases there. So he's got the speed and he just didn't seem like he had fear. He like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to show what I can do. And I think we need that right now because on the contrary to him, it kind of looks like Conforto's been having a little bit of struggles at the plate, and I don't know if he's kind of in his head too much or what it is because I mean, I think Dodger fans are getting a little frustrated from what I can tell. And so, you know, I don't know what you guys think of Conforto or
Yeah,
kind of
I
how long
think
he might be.
he's in his head a lot right now. Some of those at bats, it feels like he's already down like 0-2.
Mhm.
It kind of just feels like he's going up there and he's already down 0-2, and I feel like it's just like a mental thing at this point because when he started off early on, he was hitting the ball pretty solid. So I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it's just one of those mental ruts that he has to get out of. Sometimes I feel like he's just taking too many pitches. You probably just let it rip and see what happens. It doesn't hurt. But I think it's just a mental gap that he's just having right now, a mental issue.
Yeah, one of the things I've been kind of thinking is like just give him a couple of days, right? Just give him a couple of days rest, kind of reset him a little bit. Dave Roberts was asked about that again today. It's kind of it's already they're thinking about it. Kind of just give him that time, let him reset, kind of see where it goes from there. But Dave Roberts is still high on him. If you listen to today's post game interview, he's still high on him. He's still, he knows the type of player he is, the veteran that he is, and that he's, he calls it his pick to click. So he's expecting a lot from Conforto. Remains to be seen what he's going to do. But I think, it's going to start with, give him that reset, give him that mental reset, a couple days, especially right now when you got Kim up, where you kind of shuffle that outfit a little bit, maybe use Kim in center field, put Pajas in left, and then, get Conforto back in there, kind of get him back on his feet, and then you continue from that.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking maybe we'll see like um Edmund back hopefully sooner than later. But when Dave Roberts said he, he will expect him back in the next day or two, I'm always kind of skeptical about that
Yeah.
and don't always know what that really means. I mean, I don't speak fluent Dave Roberts, but I think I know enough to know that sometimes that gets stretched out a little bit. But I'm hoping that Edmund's injury isn't going to stay or last too long for now because we need him.
I mean, from what it seems, it doesn't seem serious. It just seems, when he tested it out, I think it was like Friday, kind of still felt sore. So, I mean, end of April, early May, no reason to risk it. Kind of just give him that time, give him a couple of days off. And, like we said, it gives a chance now to get Kim up here and see what he can do. There's been a lot. Early April, people wanted him up. Mid-April, people wanted him up. But kind of just had to wait a little bit. And now, right now, this time for him to kind of come up and do what he can do.
Yeah, with Edmund, it kind of reminded me of how like when Freddie went down early to start the year, and they kind of just like, we'll give you a week, kind of just to like relax and sit down. It feels like they're kind of playing the long game here, just like take some time off, long season, no need to rush it here at the end of April, early May. We're gonna need you in September and October.
Right. I think Roberts also sticks with his guys, even though sometimes I think we get a little antsy. He doesn't, just pull the blanket out from under them. He gives them their runway to make sure that they fully are, they show all that they can do and all that they're going to be. And so we know that he is a player's manager, and he sticks with them. So for what it's worth, I really do think that they always know more than we do from what we can see from the outside. They're on the inside, and so I'm really hoping Conforto gets it together because he has made some really good catches. I mean, I like, some of his defensive plays have been great. I just want him to get it together at the plate for, for him, for us, for everyone. But some other like kind of cool things that we saw just before the series, Clayton McCullough. I really have always liked him. I always liked the way he was always the solid piece at first base coach, and he got his ring, and the guys seemed like they all just were really kind of banding around him and making him feel really special. But he's now the manager for the Marlins, and I kind of wonder what is it like to go from being with the Dodgers and having that that prime organization, and then having to kind of rebuild and go through the whole thing with a whole new club. And the Marlins aren't exactly the team that everyone fears playing against. But he seems like he's okay. Just kind of, wonder what that's like. So, but overall, the guys seem like they really enjoyed seeing him again.
And I don't know if you guys caught there was a cool little video that was going. I don't know if you remember. So Clayton McCullough was the first base coach, right, for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And last year when Shohei with Shohei, they'd have a little head bump at first base when Shohei would get to first. I don't know if you saw the video of with Chris Woodward, now that's the first base coach for the Dodgers, and when they came to town, and he went ahead and did that head bump, and it was kind of like when you see your ex or something like that, right? With somebody
Yeah.
else, right? And so as soon as he does that, they kind of zoom into to Clayton McCullough, and he kind of just like he turned his head, like gave that look. So I thought it was kind of funny. It's kind of cool, and it's funny because one of my friends, they showed that little clip to Chris Woodward and kind of asking him about. He was just laughing. He was like, just talking about how great McCullough has been, and just kind of they all miss that guy, and just it's such a. And when you talk about him to any Dodgers, like he was a great part of that team, right, on the coaching side. But I thought that little meme was kind of funny with now he's doing that little head bump with Chris Woodward.
I know.
Yeah.
I got that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see, especially coaches, if they're bench coaches or first base coaches or bullpen guys, if they get opportunities to be managers, kind of gives them an opportunity to like expand their horizons. I'm sad he's no longer with us, but I'm also happy he found a new home to hopefully rebuild. I know the Marlins have been rebuilding for God, basically my whole life. Basically, I don't remember once like them being competitive. But I hope it's like a good opportunity for him. Obviously, he feels he can build with them, so hopefully, all the best for him in the future.
Yeah, wishing him nothing but the best. But Freddie had kind of a really cool milestone when we were playing the Marlins. He got his 40th home run against them, and Freddie's been looking pretty good out there. His like, if you look at his Savant page, he's been pretty consistent all season. And I think it kind of just flies under the radar because Freddie just is so, he comes up, he does his job. And then we've seen a little bit more production from Mookie. So I like that he's been kind of getting, some good hits at the plate. I also like that we got to see Gonsolin again in the Marlins series. So he came back, and that was kind of a fun. They were playing cat sounds in the stadium, if you guys heard, and that was every time he got a strikeout. And so it's kind of nice to see him on the mound. He looked pretty good. So I was happy with that.
I mean, with Mookie heating up at the plate too, a lot that's kind of hasn't been mentioned a lot because he hasn't been doing bad is his play at shortstop. Mm-hmm. He's actually been doing pretty good at shortstop. He's been handling the position, way above average, I would say. I think he's only made 2 errors, so he's making that transition. And a lot of people are kind of worried. Obviously, it's a much tougher position to hold down and then kind of to carry that over with that, affecting him at the plate. But we've seen now over kind of the last week, he had a home run. He's been driving in runs, more hits. So he's kind of getting back to where he wants to be and continuing to play, a good shortstop.
Yeah, I think on the broadcast they mentioned that he's training with Troy Tulowitzki, and that guy was one of the best shortstops I probably ever saw growing up. So it's always good that at least our star players are seeking help from other star players. They're not too arrogant and think like, oh, I can do it on my own. No, they seek help. It's always important to seek help from people who are better than you, basically, so you can improve your craft.
And one thing too, also about if you go, if you see these guys pregame, and I posted too, like I'll post it on Twitter and stuff. Is this guy's out there every day? He's working with like Dino Evo, and then taking early ground balls at shortstop. So I always see like Mookie out there, Rojas out there, Muncy out there. Those guys are kind of the guys that are always working. Freddie's always out there. They're always working on the little stuff, right? The little stuff that's going to help you win ball games and help you in the games. So, might not help them that day, but it'll help them some other game down the road. So it's good to see those guys like practicing those fundamentals every day that they go into that ballpark.
Mm-hmm. And being like MVPs, and you're still taking the time to make sure that you're working on the mechanics and the fundamentals, like you said, that is huge. Because what are the guys that are coming up seeing? They're saying that if the top of the players and like the whole entire league are training as if they're, just newly up in the show, that sets the tone for the entire club. So I really think that they're just creating the culture and continuing the culture that we're going to see with some of the players like that we've been seeing coming up that are that are starting to impress. Did you guys catch Matt Sauer's outing when he came up? Because I wasn't sure who was going to pitch that day or how that was going to look, but he looked pretty solid.
Yeah, he looked really comfortable out there. He looked really, really good. And like you said, a lot of these guys see especially when they go down on rehab assignments, like you'll see like the pros, like how they take care of themselves and like how hard they're working just to get back to the major league. So it kind of like is engraved in their minds, like, hey, like if they see someone like Kershaw's going through his routine and he's like, I forget what year he's in now. If he's doing this late in his career, he must have been doing it twice as hard when he was younger. So it kind of gives him motivation. So guys who usually like come up like Matt Sauer, they'll probably just feel comfortable, a sense of comfortableness when they get into the clubhouse. There's no ego. You're part of the team. You're not like someone who's coming up for one day. You might be coming up for one day, but you're part of this team for the long haul.
Agreed.
Yeah, he definitely, he saved that bullpen. I think he went 5 innings to save the bullpen, to help them out. And those things don't go unrecognized for these guys. Dave Roberts was praising him after the game. Some of the guys after in the post game interview, same thing, praising what he did to help him out. Yeah, it's one game in the scheme of the 162, but it takes you don't want to go. You have you're in a bullpen game and you only get one inning from a guy, whatever, and then you don't know what's going to happen the next day, right? And maybe the next day something happens and you got to go to a bullpen game again, right? And it continues to go. So when you get these spots where a guy comes in and takes down 5 innings for him, it's huge. It's definitely huge for that moment and going forward.
Now we're going to need it too, because we are going to go through a huge stretch for the remaining part of the month where we don't have very many days off. So we're going to need to get length from the starters. We're going to need to rely on the bullpen to, come out there and get it done. Because it looks like the Dodgers are leading MLB in how many pitchers we have used, with 21 pitchers so far. And our bullpen is also leading MLB with how many innings pitched. So led by Kirby Yates and Alex Vesia. So we have our boys just kind of going through, and we're going to need those guys when they do come up to really kind of show us what you can do, and they're going to get their chances. So I'm very hopeful, but I know that, it's a tall order considering the Padres are only a half game behind us as of tonight. And the NL West has not slowed down at all. If you look at the standings, I mean, it's still neck and neck and neck with the Giants and the Padres and even the Diamondbacks. So, we're gonna need all our boys to step up. But one who is Yamamoto. He's number 1 in MLB and ERA with, I think he's sub 1 already, right?
Yeah,
sub 1, like 0.9 or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of exciting because I think he's expressed interest that he's looking to win a Cy Young, and I think he's won the equivalent of that in Japan. So very impressive. What do you guys think about him coming through and kind of becoming the head ace?
So his most recent game he pitched, when there's like a no-hitter or like a sense of a no-hitter going on, I usually text my friends like, hey, get in front of a TV. There's something special happening. And I kind of couldn't tell like through the 4th inning, because the game had started and like it felt like I looked up and like, wow, we're already in the 4th inning. That's been kind of fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted my friend like around the 5th inning. I'm like, hey, get in front of a TV. Yamamoto's doing something special, because I kind of had that like feeling, because he was making the Braves look basically foolish up there.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, it's gonna happen either this year or like sometime later on in his career. But I had that feeling like, hey, like this guy is like, he's on one right now. Like you have to like sit down in front of the TV and watch it. Sure enough, like the next inning, he left one hanging to Austin Riley, I think, and it went in for like a single. But I felt like during that at bat specifically, he fell behind and he started to like kind of just like force feed him fastballs in the middle so he wouldn't walk him. But I don't know. I just felt like he was on track for it. I don't know if they would have kept him in. His pitch count was pretty high, or already like past 70 at least, or 80. But yeah, he's been dominating, and like I have a feeling that he's gonna get that Cy Young this
year. Yeah, I mean, I think too he'll get that no hitter. I mean, this year, I mean, there's been a couple of starts. There's a start back at home a couple of weeks ago where he started out like that as well. It's just when he's on, it's just his stuff's unhittable. It's like he has guys guessing, he has them fooled. They don't know what to do up there. They're looking for something else. He's just completely, having these guys guessing, and they're completely wrong. And so he's definitely on it. He's becoming the ace of the staff. I mean, Will Smith even called him the best pitcher in the world after his start in Atlanta. He said he's pitching like the best pitcher in the world right now. So, definitely high props for Yamamoto, and he's just got to continue to do his thing and stay healthy. If he stays healthy, like Anthony says, yeah, I definitely think he'll lock up that Cy Young.
I think so. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Snell, I think he's on the right track. I don't know when he's coming back, but I think they said that he's going to be ready to kind of like gear up pretty soon. So I don't know when we'll see him, but we have, I think, a lot to look forward to in the second half of the season. I'm not sure when they'll bring Shohei in, but I think post All-Star break, we're going to start to really kind of see what this team is made of, because obviously our team's not going to look exactly like it looks now in August and September. But I'm very excited. We haven't really even seen Kopech yet, and then we have some other bullpen pieces that we're going to kind of get back. So overall, our starting and our relief staff is going to really kind of gear up, and I think we're going to see a powerful second half, even though right now there's some shakiness with the pitching. And I think Kershaw is going to be making maybe he qualifies to make an appearance, if I'm not mistaken, in the next 2 weeks. I wrote down, I think I heard May 17th or May 18th, he qualifies to come back if possible, right?
Yeah, I think it's around there, May 18th, where he'll be eligible to come off the 60-day IL, and he's gonna do, I believe, a rehab start in Arizona this Tuesday. So I think he's slated for like 2 more at least, and then from there, I guess depending how the rotation is, they could slate him right back in there. I think they're already building him up. He's probably going to be at 5 innings at least, probably 75, 80 pitches. So, like we've mentioned, they are going to have a bullpen game. So they still have kind of that gap in that rotation. So he could finish in 2 weeks, slide him right in there into that rotation once again. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because Dave Roberts was talking about him today, kind of his velocity. He knows his velocity is not going to be up there like when, 97, 98, right?
Yeah.
If he's up in 90s, 91, Robert said he doesn't really care. He just wants a healthy Kershaw out there, and because Kershaw can still do it, even if he's throwing 91, right? He still can get out for them. So it'll be interesting to see. A couple weeks, Kershaw might be back in there on that path towards the 3,000 Ks.
Kershaw Day.
We have to all meet up at the stadium on Kershaw Day, because I cannot wait. So I'm looking forward to when that goes on, because oh gosh, he is just classic. So that's going to be fun. And I think we also acquired a couple of new pitchers, although we haven't seen them yet in the past week. An old friend, JP Fireisen. I think we acquired him from Arizona. And the name I don't recognize, but Ryan Lutos from the Cardinals. So we may be seeing, a little bit of them in the near future. But there's obviously an operation going on behind the scenes to kind of like piece it together and make sure that we have what we need. Even though, we kind of got hit by the injury bug again. But, we're the Dodgers. What else is new? But I know that they know what they're doing. I know that. But it's been kind of fun watching some of on the position player side. We were waiting for Muncy to get his first homer, and that did happen several days back, and he also had a triple in the same game. So did you see the relief? Freddie Freeman's reaction was probably my favorite when he looked up the sky like to thank the Lord that Muncy got his homer. But yeah, that was really a relief, because I really want Muncy to get on his track too, because we all know what he can do.
Muncy is rocking the shades now. Yeah, to help with his vision. It's actually working, because he's seeing the ball pretty well. He's actually starting to make solid contact. Fortunately, a lot of it's still finding gloves, but I feel like he's finally turned the corner. I feel like May might be a big month for Max Muncy.
I mean, I've always felt Max Muncy, his thing, right, is the power, get those home runs and get on base. I always feel when he goes up there and he has a good at bat, right, whether he starts 0-2, 1-2, but he gets it to 3-2. He's able to make that pitcher work. I think when he's doing that, it just makes things go right for that lineup as well, right? Because he's making that pitcher pick, make those extra pitches. He's, making him work harder. It helps everybody out in that lineup. And I think we've been seeing that too as well with, at least the last couple games that I've been at and watching there at the stadium. He had a couple walks, he's getting on base. So that's kind of the Max Muncy we want to see, right? Max Muncy getting on base with walks, hits, singles, doubles, whatever it is. That's what we'll take from Max Muncy.
Definitely. I mean, I think it was the same doctor as Kike's eye doctor, if I'm not mistaken, because the goggles, is that right? So Kike got in there and said, "Bro, let's go get over there, get your eyes looked at, and he look at what's happening." So I think something happened. That's
well, I mean, he told him his eyesight's fine. It's like 2012, I think it's like, but he does have astigmatism.
Okay.
So he just figured, you know what? Just try it out, right? It doesn't hurt. Let me try it out. And, if it's working right, and keep going with it. So.
Isn't that what Kike had? Didn't he have astigmatism? Is that the...
He had astigmatism as well.
It did not hurt to get those glasses in postseason. But we also have another player who's at the top of the leaderboard. Teo has been hitting and bringing in multiple RBIs. He's tied for first with Judge right now at 33 RBIs. So, I mean, that's the signing that we all wanted in the offseason. I was praying every day to, the baseball gods to get him back on the Dodgers, and he has definitely been amazing. So he may not be our MV3, but I would argue that he's definitely a key piece to this lineup day in and day out. Loving Teo and Pajes. Pajes definitely has shown more consistency in keeping that little streak going. Today was a different kind of day for a lot of the players, but overall, he's been showing just better swings, better at-bats, more confidence. I mean, he just looks good. I don't know what you guys have seen, but I think that he definitely deserves his chance to stay up and, hold his spot.
I think Teoscar's taking Andy under his wing, kind of they're always sitting together in the dugout, kind of sharing laughs, talking to each other. They do play next to each other. Pajes is in center, Teo's out in right. But it feels like Teo has become like that, not really a vocal leader, but like a leader in the clubhouse, right behind obviously our big three. But now a lot of players will look to Teo because he had a big year for us last year, and you saw how the fans reacted to him, especially at the World Series celebration and at the stadium, and how they were saying, pay him, bring him back, basically. So I'm glad he's a Dodger. I'm glad he's doing what he's doing, and there's really not enough words to really describe what he's doing, and it's just amazing to see the player that he is, and he's helping us achieve so much.
Yeah, I mean, with Teoscar, for me he's probably the most clutch guy on that team, if not one of the top, 2 or 3 guys that you want up there, right, when it's a situation where you need a big hit. We've seen it time and time over and over again. He'll come up there, he'll deliver that big hit, that big home run, that big double, whatever it is, right? And he's not afraid of that moment. He will go up there. He's not afraid of whatever situation it is, whether it's a World Series, whether it's a regular game, the game's on the line, he's up there and he loves that moment. And a lot of times, he delivers. So, he's got that Mr. Clutch gene in him.
Yeah, I feel like we're just so blessed and just an abundance of guys that's if it's not this guy that's going to step up, it's this guy that's going to step up. And I think they're really setting the tone for all the guys we talked about for the future. We had Roki got his first win too. So that he's also being influenced and, mentored properly. And that was exciting to see because I really want him to build up his confidence so he can have the year that Yamamoto's having, because Yamamoto got kind of acclimated and now look what he's doing. So I think we just have a lot of great years ahead of us with these guys learning from all these veteran players that are showing them just such great, what it means to be, not just a good player, but a good person, and to really take them under the wing. So I love that. But yeah, there was definitely players we're going to see in the future that maybe this year, I'm not sure who would be called up, but ESPN released their top 10 prospects, and we have for each team. And so we have Roki at the top of that, obviously, because he's still considered, a rookie. But number 2 is Dalton Rushing. And number 3 is Josue De Paula. And then we have different guys mixed in that we probably recognize, like Alex Freeland, course, River Ryan, but he's on the injured list right now. Kendall George. So looking at them, because I catch minor league games here and there, just kind of peek in and see how they're doing. They are definitely, amazing to think about what we see for the future of Dodger baseball. So very exciting
Yeah.
stuff.
And speaking of minor league games, I don't know if you guys caught this, but Sports in LA and Oklahoma City Comets, they've come up with a deal where they're going to show, I think it'll be 11 games or 13 games, but they're going to show them on Sports in LA. The first one was yesterday. So you're going to get a chance to see some of these guys that are in AAA that are right on the cusp of coming up. So, Tim Rushing's there, Alex Freeland's there. So you're going to get to see these guys right, again, like I said, right on the cusp of coming up. And before we know it, guys like DePaula are going to be there.
Yeah.
Kendall George, we're going to Zaire Hope. I mean, those guys are tearing up. They're down they're in, I think they're still in at the Loons level in high A. So they're still ways away, but the way they're continuing to play, they're going to continue to move up that system. So they're very cool to be able to catch, some OKC Comet games on Sports in LA here in LA.
Definitely. I think we have just so much just potential in our system, and whether we see them as Dodgers or, unfortunately we have to sometimes part with our prospects, but they turn into something that, when Andrew Friedman sees the big picture, he probably sees things 2 and 3 years down the line that we have, no idea what he's planning. But a lot of the stuff we're seeing now is stuff that was in the works from 2 to 3 years back. So there's always a big picture, there's a puzzle piece, there's a vision. And I think that the Dodgers are the best in baseball at doing that. So they know what they're developing, they know what they're doing. So I'm very excited for that. But there was just some fun things that have happened in the last week. I thought it was great when we were having that big blowout game. Did you catch Kike on the mound and all his fun little antics? What did you think about that? I loved it.
See, I'm always a fan of the position player pitching because it's just entertainment at that point. I love. I had been seeing TikToks of him wearing his little helmet hat thing in spring training, and when I first saw it, I'm like, what is that? I thought that was something that was custom made, but apparently no, he made it himself. So it tells you how much time they have in spring training just to kill. And he might actually be a trendsetter because I remember years and years back they were trying to implement those giant safety hats for pitchers to wear.
Yeah.
So this might be a step forward. I know in football they have those Guardian helmets. So maybe Kike's helmet, they might call it the Kike helmet. It might be a trend for pitchers going forward. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Kike is always a good time to have around.
Definitely. I mean, I saw some mock-ups that people were creating probably via, AI and all their little, programs to mock up a bobblehead. And I thought, oh my God, how cute would this be to have a Kike helmet bobblehead pitching with his goggles and his glove. He's just adorable.
So they're going to have to re-sign him, right? Bring him back next year for that bobblehead night. Because I don't think there's any, I think, well, they could still technically probably add another bobblehead this season if they wanted to. But yeah, definitely cool. Kike, he's out there. I don't know if you saw his post. He's said, you got to wear protection. You got to be safety. You got to have protection out there. So it was definitely one of those, cool moments again, right? To see Kike out there and wearing that helmet and I mean he didn't imitate his fellow teammates, but I think he went out there. I mean some of his pitches look really good. I saw he'd drop, they would kind of go and just drop right into the strike zone. He'd get the strike, and then I think he tried to get one in there really fast. He kind of went up in velocity. He didn't get the strike, and he even had a moment where he said he has to work on his PFP. He missed the play at first base. He didn't get over the cover in time, so he was kind of my bad. He said he had to work on that. So it's definitely some work for Kike there, but yeah, overall I thought it was a very cool moment.
Definitely. I think he's, as if the fan base didn't love him, anymore, he always does something that just makes him far more endearing than we could have ever imagined. But definitely fun to see him on the mound. I think he said today in an interview on Sunday Night Baseball that he's looking to hit, I believe it's 20 innings pitched this season to qualify to be a two-way player next season. And it's Kike, you know, he jokes, but then he didn't sound like he was joking. He sounded like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I am serious." So he just prides himself on doing it all, and he does it all. And I just think it just makes him valuable beyond whatever we can see, you know, on
I mean,
paper.
Dodgers got to get more blowout wins, right? Not the blowout losses, get the blowout wins, and they could have Kike out there and you know, let him qualify for that two-way player.
I wonder if they'll ever let him like catch. I know that's the one spot he hasn't played, catcher.
Yeah, I don't see. I know there was a couple years ago that people wanted him to catch, but I think he said he didn't want to do it because it's kind of one of the hardest positions. He doesn't want to get hurt doing it. So I kind of remember him saying something about that he didn't really want to, you know, play catcher. But I mean, there might come a point where he might be one of those guys that wants to play every position, you know, in the season or whatever. I mean, he might try it.
Without Kike, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he's just amazing. And I mean, you guys know how like much of a fan I am of him. And I did get a chance to meet him in the last week. And I just got to say, like, as a person, and I watched him engage with the fans, and I can tell you that like he's just amazing human being. And so I just think we're really lucky to have him as Dodger fans. But he's also, not only is he a player, he's also an actor. He's making an appearance on, if you guys are fans of the show, I'm not really one to watch too many shows outside of like, I love sports, pretty much all I do, but there's a show called The Rookie. And it's on Channel 7. It comes on Tuesday nights. And I guess he filmed a guest piece on The Rookie. So if you want to catch that, if you're home, I believe it's 9/8 Central. And following that night, it'll be on Hulu. So Kike is making a guest appearance. I'm not real sure what his role is or what part he's playing, but he'll be on TV. So that'll be super fun.
So we don't know if he's playing himself or like a character, right? We don't know. Okay.
I don't know that.
We'll
I just saw it on Instagram.
We have to tune in to watch and find out.
Definitely. So that's going to be fun. So some cool things coming up. I know we have a really big homestand coming up after they get back from the Marlins and the Diamondbacks. They're going to play 3 games against the Marlins, 4 games against the Diamondbacks. And then we'll be home for a little while. And it gets kind of serious late May because we're going to start to see May going into June, the NL West teams and some of the teams we played in the playoffs. Like we're going to see Mets, Yankees. We're going to see quite a few Padres games coming up in June. So it's going to get intense. And so kind of exciting, but there's also some really fun promotions. I know, Anthony, you said you're going to one coming up when they come back. Is it the?
Yes, I'll be there. Let me see, May 14th. Yeah, May 14th for Star Wars night. They're going to be giving away. Well, it's one of those promotions where you have to exclusive, basically, kind of like the Heritage Nights are. So they're giving out a bobblehead figure, and I think on top of Dodger Stadium, the Death Star is going to be up there. I know last year they did I forget what they did. They did something similar, but it was a stadium-wide giveaway, and I missed it because
it was a Millennium Falcon on it, right?
Yeah, it was the Millennium.
Yeah, I think it was still a special ticket package, but it was a stadium with the Millennium Falcon on it.
Yeah,
and it lights up. So this year,
this one lights up as well.
Yeah. Too. Are you guys Star Wars fans? I have to admit, I know about as much as Mookie Betts knew when they interviewed him today.
So no, I wouldn't call myself like a diehard fan. Like the fans like that would show up to the game dressed up. I'm not that kind of fan, but like I'll watch the movies. I understand the plots to them. The shows kind of as well. Big fan of Disney. So that's kind of where I go. I don't know like all the history or like a lot of people do, but like I'm kind of just like in and out basically.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched all the from the first original 3, then the prequels that came out, and then the ones that came after the original 3 a couple years back. So I've seen all those. I've seen like some of the Disney shows, Mandalorian, stuff like that have come on. So I've kept in touch. I mean, I don't do like maybe like the history of it, and kind of I know there's a lot of people that will watch. There's a lot of cartoon versions of it, right? That I haven't gotten into all those.
That's my brother.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get it. But I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan and like really, really kind of want to know what's going on, you got to watch all those because it's just a continuing timeline of events that kind of gets you to, the prequels and then the originals and all that. So it's all connected. So it's definitely, you know, if you want to get into all that and watch all that, you know, catch them online. But definitely, you know, definitely no more than Mookie Betts. You know, I don't know if you guys saw that clip. They were showing him images of like Darth Vader, C-3PO, and he's like, nope, never seen that guy. Nope. He just knows that Darth Vader's Luke's he's what do you say? He's like that's his daddy. He's like
Yeah, Luke's
that's his
daddy.
that's his daddy, right, or something like that. So, but yeah, definitely, you know, I'd say I'm right up there, kind of high Star Wars, but not like overly fanatic where I know like everything Star Wars.
I'm horrible at it. I always pride myself when they do Dodger trivia on Dodgers Vision, and I'm like, I'm going to know all of those, and I'm pretty close to getting all of them right, if not all of them right. But if you ask me anything about Star Wars, I'm probably going to get like one if I'm lucky. So, but it does look like fun. My friends from work, my father loves Star Wars. It's just never been something that I gravitated toward, but
well, I mean, I think you got to go and probably watch them. I think we're gonna give that your assignment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to kind of watch it. You see, because like I grew up watching it, you know, with the original three, but those original three now are like the middle three. I mean, you can probably watch it from, I guess, from the way they intended. I guess after, you know, with the prequels, start that route. You know, kind of work your way up. You know, and see what you think.
For me, the first three, 1, 2, and 3 were the ones that I saw growing up in theaters and stuff like that. 4, 5, 6 were the ones that I saw. Oddly enough, in high school, on rainy days, they would usually play for whatever reason 4, 5, and 6. So that's where I saw it. And then these last three, I only saw the first one. I didn't bother seeing the last two. I don't think I even saw the second. What is that? Number 7? Yeah, I don't think I bothered. Because I have friends who are really like diehard Star Wars fans, and they're like,
the last three weren't. Yeah, they weren't as great. But a lot of people like the third part, right? The third part from the prequels. But yeah, I mean, definitely. I saw, like I said, I grew up with the 4, 5, 6, right, the originals, and then when the 1, 2, 3, it took me a while to actually get into those and watch those. But I think it was like you know, a while back, kind of just watch them all. Started watching those, and then when the later ones came, I did go and watch those later ones. Like I said, not probably not as great, but you know, keeping kind of just watching them to kind of know what's going on, essentially.
How many are there? 7?
So no, there's so 3 original, 3 prequel, and then 3 after the originals. So it's 9.
9. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I've got a lot of homework then. But we're all filming this on May the 4th, so I think they say May the 4th be with you.
Be with
okay,
you,
so I got that right. I got one thing right.
And then we got Revenge of the 5th, which is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
good stuff for me to get into. I know I got to step out of well, now that the Lakers and the Kings are now out, so now I'm going to have more time to I guess find something to watch besides baseball. But yes, it's going to be a fun week. I think like if anything says, you know, reset, it is the Marlins. So I love Clayton McCullough, but I'm hoping that I hate to say the word sweep because I feel like I'll jinx it, but I'm hoping we sweep the Marlins the next 3 days. What are your predictions for both the Marlins and then the 4 Diamondback series coming up in the next week?
So that's 7 games.
7 games. That's right.
Oof. I think we take.
That's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah, I think I'm overthinking it, but I think we're gonna take all 3 against Miami.
Okay, same.
And we're gonna split against Arizona. We're gonna go 2-2. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm going backwards again. Split with the Marlins. I'm not split with the Marlins. Sweep with the Marlins, and then Arizona. I think they'll get 3 out of 4 in Arizona.
Oy, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been playing. They're gonna play us hard. There's no way that they haven't have this circled on their calendar from day 1. So we're definitely gonna have a good series there. I'm gonna be nervous because I get flashbacks of postseason Diamondbacks when we were swept. So
Lance Lynn pitching.
oh, yeah. Oh God. Oh, yeah, those moments I get the pit in my stomach. Just yeah. But yeah, the Giants and the Padres have the easiest schedule in the month of May out of all the NL West teams. So they're playing teams that they're likely going to keep beating. Whereas the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, it's kind of like, some easier, some harder, we'll see. But you really never know in baseball. It's a game of inches and anything can happen. So, you just because we think that we will beat a team or they think they'll beat us, you really never know. So I think I'm going with the sweep on the Marlins. Dare I say that we'll do that. And then I hope it's a split at least against the Diamondbacks because I want to keep this party moving for the Dodgers. But definitely going to be a fun week. I will be at we'll talk about it next round, I'm sure, but there's going to be a Shohei bobblehead coming up on the next homestand. So kind of to bookend the days that you'll be there, Anthony. And then there's also a Mookie Betts bobblehead coming up. So you'll probably catch me there getting my bobbleheads too, for sure.
Making my debut on May 14th. That's my first game back.
First game back. Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, that'll be fun. I'll let you know if I end up there. Maybe we can catch, we'll do a selfie. I'll let you know, but definitely fun. We have a lot to look forward to because there's so many good promotions coming up. But again, we'll talk about those at the future shows. But that's all I have on my end, unless there's anything else you guys want to make sure that we plug or get in there for tonight's show.
I did want to mention too something, and we mentioned it before. We were trying to hit 15K on our YouTube channel, which we did, and one of our writers, Mike Salas, the writes on Dodgers Beat, he kind of spearheaded. He always said, "Hey, once we hit 15,000, I want to give away Ohtani jersey." So I'm like, "Sure, let's do it." So we're kind of promoting that. There was some rules, so I said, "Hey, if you guys want to get entered on this, anybody is eligible, but I need you to go onto one of our videos and just hit that like button, right? Make sure you're subscribed, and then just comment like your X username or something like that, or IG, and put like X your username, IG your username. That way I can get a hold, because it's very tough on YouTube to actually try and track down somebody just by like all the users. You can't even see all the users when you go in to look at, all the subscribers, can't see them all. So we're still doing this. If you want to get in on that, comment one of those usernames, X or IG. And that way you are entered. We'll go ahead and enter you in that. We're going to do it on a live coming up, with Cody. We'll do that and we'll announce the winner. But go ahead and do that. Make sure you're liked, subscribed, comment if you want a chance at that Ohtani jersey.
That's fun. Are we eligible, Roger?
I'll have to read the terms and agreements. I don't know. Probably not. Yeah.
I probably don't need any more jerseys from Ohtani. I think I bought them all out, and I'm just, I'm okay. So one of our listeners, definitely our viewers, could definitely get in on that because that is exciting, and we want to make sure that we, reach out to you guys and give back for all the times you watch us. So we really do appreciate that. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Bleed Lows podcast. Again, please check out DodgersBeat.com. We have so many great interviews, behind the scenes footage, locker room pressers, you name it. It is all there. Our social media handles are right below us. You can find me at Instagram at Ravine Queen 1958. You can find Anthony at Instagram at Anthony Acosta _ and you can find Roger on X at Los Royers. Make sure, again, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Make sure to comment, like Roger said, with your handles for your Twitter/X account or your Instagram, so we can make sure to get a hold of you. But we really do appreciate having you. And once again, this episode is brought to you by DodgersBeat.com. Until next time, go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.